All right, today we're talking with Hernan Vazquez again. Hernan joined me for the very first episode of the Real World Productivity Podcast. And seeing as how we're located together, since we're normally, like 10,000 miles?
Around that.
Yeah, just roughly. Figured we'd do a quick follow-up. So we talked to Hernan in, I believe, November or December of last year. So this is going to be a quick follow-up. So as noted in that podcast, Hernan's more on the action taker side of things, less of a long-term planner.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
But yeah, for better, for the worse.
Yeah. So I guess, first of all, welcome, Hernan.
Well, thank you for having me, Adam. Thank you so much. It's been a blast seeing how you are developing your podcast. So I'm super pumped for this. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. It's been good to talk to a bunch of different people and seriously to have you back on. So if we have any weird pauses, it's because we're doing this in a house while we're having a business meeting with our other partners. And they're sitting across the room probably giving us weird looks. So.
Yep, that's correct.
Cool. So, we talked about it last time a little bit, how, you're more action-oriented and you weren't as worried about processes and systems, and not that you didn't believe in them. You certainly believed in them, but you realized that they weren't your strong points. And so I'm just curious, over the past year, has any of that changed? Have you developed systems to help you fix any issues with that, or what are you doing?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I think that the action, the ready, fire, aim type mentality, the action-taking mentality is still there. But I do think that, growing businesses and having different projects and whatnot, it has definitely changed towards a more process/systems oriented, just because of the fact that I've been growing a team for the past, I would say for the past 12 months. So that definitely requires processes to go up, and I've even hired a project manager / process person. So yeah, I mean, a lot has been going on in terms of that, and then you realize that it's necessary, and there might or might not be some influence from you on that regard. but
oh, don't be shy. You can tell people.
Oh yeah. Well, it's all thanks to Adam. So, but no, in all seriousness, yeah, it has changed dramatically. In fact, I'm part of a couple of big projects right now that demand a lot of time, but I wouldn't be able to have been traveling for the past 15 days if it wasn't because of those processes that I put together at some point. So
nice.
Yep.
So cool. Let's circle back around to hiring. So you've talked about building a team over the last year.
Yes.
I know you've had a team, or at least the start, you've had an employee basically for longer than a year. So I'm just curious, what was your first hire for?
A personal assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, for you, what did that cover?
Well, it covered.
Was it part-time, full-time?
It was a part-time initially. She's still a part-time, but we're moving. I'm planning to, when I get back home, I'm planning to move her into a full-time position. Just because of the fact that initially I started delegating on her a lot of stuff that had to do with spreadsheets and reports and all of that kind of stuff. And she's local as well from where I'm at, so it's good to have somebody local that you can trust, and since I've been traveling a lot, it's good to have somebody local over there. So I kind of had that in mind when hiring. So it's been a relationship in development. It's been a long relationship. I think that for some high-level type of positions, you might want to, take that route. It's not that easy to just fire up a hiring funnel, which you could definitely do and get a lot of good people that way. And we've done it multiple times. But the fact that was like my first hire, and she's been evolving as, the different businesses that we run have been evolving as well. So it's not it's a really dynamic position that she has. So she has to be problem solving. So she has to be doing all sorts of different fun stuff.
Cool. So was that the first kind of personal assistant you had hired, and it worked out right away?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, with the I would say that yes, with the caveat of it was a lot of training, both for her and for me. Yeah. Directing her and whatnot. When I hired her, big mistake, I didn't have a lot of processes developed. So I then realized that I needed that, and I hired a process developer, which is also a project manager. So I hired that person because of the fact that I needed to develop a lot of processes, and I'm not as detail oriented as you or Bradley, one of our partners, is. So I'm like a more like a high level type thinker. So what I do is just sit down, record a video of what I have in mind that needs to be done, and then this process person will go ahead and break it down like in really tiny itsy bitsy steps. So that has helped me and her in terms of my personal assistant in terms of what needs to be done and what's the expected outcome. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Something I actually just wrote a couple weeks ago was kind of a first hire checklist for people, because another group I'm a part of, what they were asking, everybody in the group, do you have any ideas for me, because I'm getting ready to hire, I think, what should I know or not know, or what should I do?
Right.
And should I do it myself, or should I go out and do it? And I think that it's unique to each situation, but I argued that he should do it himself. You should hire someone, because it's as you're trying to grow a business, it's something you need to have under your belt, the ability to hire people and understand people.
Oh yeah.
He ended up not taking my advice, but that's fine, because I also created kind of a checklist of like what you just talked about, where it's like, if you don't have any processes developed yet, then it's not that you can't hire someone, it just makes the process more difficult and time consuming, and you got to be aware of that up front, that like, okay, well, you took on someone like in your case, but the downside maybe of that was, okay, well, you have to invest a lot of time into that person.
Yep.
But then the upside after that is, well, you invested the time, and now you've got a personal assistant who can do processes and things like that.
Yeah, definitely, and that's actually a great point. And we usually, advise on people taking the other route. But again, this comes back to the ready, fire, aim mentality. Oh, I'm getting overwhelmed with stuff. I need to hire somebody medium to high level to help me with all of this stuff. Okay, let's hire somebody, and then go ahead and develop the processes. So and at the end of the day, you're paying for that time. And the reality is that if you start the other way around, if you start like I did, which is hiring somebody without having the processes, the problem with that is that you're paying for a lot of how would I put it, leisure time, because you don't have stuff ready yet. So the other person is waiting for you to actually command him or her, which sucks.
Yeah.
So and that that's something that I kind of recognize that you're kind of training that person into being responsive to what you need instead of being an action taker, Now, conversely, what I did after that experience, which has been, neither bad or good, it's been an experience and a learning process, what I did was the complete opposite. For example, for my social media accounts, I have somebody that manages that, but I laid out the entire process step by step first, and then we decided to bring somebody on board to check the boxes. So that was amazing, because I could have somebody trained in maybe 2 weeks instead of and she's instead of 2 or 3 months, and she's completely autonomous on that. Granted, we'll have some quirks and ends, the process are living and breathing and whatnot, and I am kind of empowering this person, this team member, on having, hey, if you think that a process could be done better, just let me know, we'll make it better for you. But that has been like day and night. So instead of getting somebody up to speed with little to no tasks to complete over the first weeks and then slowly ramping that up, you have somebody just like that,
ready to go.
Ready to go, hitting the ground running.
That's cool. Yeah, and I think you touched on something that's really good, and that's having feedback and kind of instilling that in people. I think there's a certain level, whatever you being anyone who's listening, whatever you're comfortable with your employees or VAs, where maybe you want them to get started and you have a process laid out for them, and you just have them do that, and maybe after 30, 60, 90 days, once they've proven they can do that, you widen the scope a little bit and say, here's the feedback mechanism whereby if you think something can be done better, can you save time? Can you save yourself time? Things like that. And you say either, you can do this however it works best for your business, whether it's, send a message on Slack or, have a form submission and describe it or something like that. And empowering these people, because everyone, if they're truly invested in their work, they're probably going to want to help.
Yep.
And if you never ask them, though, then that's, in my opinion, that's on our shoulders to set that up or to ask those people.
Oh, yeah.
I'm guilty of not doing it as much as I should, but that's something I'm working in.
Yeah.
We've gotten some good results. We've asked some of the people who work for Semantic Mastery, what they can do or what they could do better if we help them. What do you need? Things like that. And we got answers right away, like, my computer upload speed is kind of slow. Great, we'll get you a VPS with a really fast connection. You know, the types of things like that where we're helping remove issues. So Cool. All right. Well, I think on that topic, we're pretty good on employees. I am going to dig into this and see what else we got. All right. So we've talked about hiring employees, a little bit about that. I want to bring it around to a subject that everybody loves talking about. What tools do you use in your business as far as productivity, organization, and running it?
Yeah, that's great questions. Well, we use Slack for pretty much everything. For communications, like I try to put everything in there. The only problem with Slack, which makes me kind of mad, is the fact that you cannot send audio messages. You know, and I like to press a button and send you an audio message that you can, because you can have a 2-minute audio message and instead of typing that out. But that's just something that I would like that to have. But other than that, everything is in there. All of the communications, everything. We use Google Drive a lot. For everything that has to do with saving, files, sharing, blah, blah, blah. So I use G Suite for some projects, which is, compiling all of the stuff that Google Drive provides over there. So we use that. I also use Evernote for notes, like general note taking, stuff that I need to remind myself. The Google Calendar, if it isn't on the Google Calendar, doesn't exist. Let me see what else. I've been trying. We use Trello for the most part for processes, and to have like processes laid out, even if they're like not being actively used. You don't have somebody like checking all the boxes all the time, but you have you have them there. So that's cool. We use Trello, and now I'm starting to use Monday a little bit for some stuff. So that's cool. I'm digging it. I think that there's this learning curve, and you have to set up the stuff like the boards, the pulses, and everything that you need to set up the way you like it. But then once that's done and you learn how to use it, it's great. Let me see what else. And I think that's pretty much it in terms of
day-to-day stuff.
Day-to-day stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. So one more question I got for you is, so you deal with a handful of clients. So how do you personally deal with, not juggling, but how do you deal with having multiple clients and client kind of demands?
Yeah, that's a great question. I try to batch my day and to split my day in, because I've always, since I can remember, I've always juggled more than one project. You know what I'm saying? For better, for worse. That's been my modus operandi for quite a while. So I'm not unfamiliar with, juggling, like trying to move every project forward. Now, I try to batch my day, right, in tasks. So, for example, if I had to spend a couple hours on a business manager or writing copy, whatever, I try to do that first thing in the morning. So I dedicate 1 or 2 hours to that, and then all of the reporting and everything goes there. And then I try to do the creative stuff when it comes to near noon. And then in the evening or afternoons are all the meetings and all the the bureaucracy that comes with that. But that's basically it. I've hired somebody in my team that helps me with the daily operations. We do a lot of Facebook ads, so I train him on how to actually run all of the stuff with my direction. So he will take care of the monitoring and all of the day-to-day with my kind of guidance. So that has unloaded a lot of day-to-day operations. So that's basically how I have it set up. And also depending on time zones. Because so I have a couple clients on Pacific, I have a couple clients on Eastern. So depending on time zones, that's how I kind of that how my day revolves around those time zones too. So
cool. All right. Well, as we're getting started to wrap this up, one last question: what's the best book you've read in the last year? And you could do more than one if you want.
Okay.
But, I try. Yeah. What's anything come to mind?
Yeah, definitely. In the last year. Okay. So I'll name a few. So Persuasion by Cialdini. I'm actually carrying it right now. I've read Awaken. I'm rereading Awakening the Giant Within. Okay. From Tony Robbins. Yep. Yeah, Tony Robbins. Let me see what else. So Tools of Titans. I've read that on the past year. I need to reread it because it's an amazing book. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm pretty pumped to go into breakthrough advertising, which is the one that I got that you brought for me. That's pretty much it.
Cool. Well, where can people find out more about you?
They can go to semanticmastery.com.
All right.
We have a weekly Q&A, so they can go to semanticmastery.com/hump-day. We have a weekly SEO/digital marketing Q&A, and then if they go to hernanvazquez.com/Facebook, they will be able to join a free Facebook group that I have. And if you search for me, there's also a YouTube channel laying around.
And what kind of stuff would they find in the Facebook group?
On the Facebook group, they can find a bunch of stuff. Like they can go ahead and ask questions. They can download some free stuff, like free cheat sheets and templates for Facebook ads that I put together.
Okay.
So that's cool. I also from time to time jump in Q&As and live Q&As there, so you can ask questions. It's free. There's a lot of people helping each other, and that's cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming back on, and I guarantee you'll be back on hopefully before the year is up.
Oh, looking forward to it. Thank you, Adam.
And thanks to you for listening to this podcast episode today. It can be really beneficial to hear about how others approach productivity, organization, and optimizing their business and life. And if you're interested in taking your productivity and efficiency up a few notches, head to www.productivity.academy/start. There, you'll find my Productivity Academy guidebook, which I recommend for all listeners who want to improve their lives and know that there are better ways to getting where they want to go. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.